Electrify America's making a change. We got a new charger coming in Caseyville. And I may not be too impressed with the Slate. Let's pull some shots. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Espresso Shots. Don't have too much to go over this week. I just got back from a week on vacation. We got off the plane a couple hours ago, so I'm trying to get this in. So I got something to put up. But either way, I am just gonna jump into the news. A few things I wanted to talk about, and I'm gonna get back to my holiday weekend. So you probably are gonna hear some fireworks going off because you know how it is in Missouri on 4th of July. So with that, biggest thing I can find locally for charging is there is a new travel center going up in Caseyville called Filler Up. And apparently they are putting in some charge point chargers. So it doesn't look like it's any of like the new OmniDock, anything. Look, it's just the old 125, 150s, whatevers. But either way, more is always good, even if it's not my preferred networks or setups. So on the national side of things, EA announced that they are rolling out NACS ports. Looks like they're starting out west generally, because California, when it comes to charging, tends to lead the way. But that's good. We get the conversion going. You're going to see that probably in a lot of networks going forward, a lot more NACS than we have seen in the past. So be looking for EA to be swapping some cables. The Ionna Circle K partnership is very quietly moving along. For those who don't know, I know of 4 locations so far that have gone live. Peatone, Illinois, Morton, Illinois, DeVernon, Illinois, which you may see soon, and Athens, Georgia are the 4 that I know of. There may be a couple others that have snuck in, but it's just weird that they made a big deal about the partnership and they've done nothing to announce any of the openings for the locations that are getting these fast conversions. Hopefully the one near Troy gets done soon. I can get over there, but yeah, you just kind of stumble upon them. Even the DeVernon one that I might or might not have stumbled across, it was still listed as Circle K on PlugShare and in all the apps. It just something showed me that trying to block the sun. But yeah, found it and it was there, and you should see that one in a video next week. I'm really good at teasing things. On to some big vehicle stuff this week, and that's where most of this time's going to be spent, which isn't going to be very long. But so Tesla announced the Model Y Long is coming to America. I know Kyle from Out of Spec went to China and got a really deep dive into it, and then they just did an hour plus long recap of it on Out of Spec Bits, I believe. Told you there's going to be fireworks. But it's pretty compelling. It's what, I think 6 inches longer in wheelbase, but more cargo space, 3rd row of seats, even though it's captain chairs in the middle, so it's actually, you're only gaining 1 actual seat over regular Model Y, but you're gaining more cargo space, probably a better ride with the longer wheelbase. And they're just coming out with a launch edition, but it's single price. But the cool thing is you can choose any of the colors, either of the 2 wheel designs, either of the interior spaces, all at no additional cost. You get a year of FSD included and a year of unlimited supercharging. So, and it's coming in right around $68,000 for cash. Like I said, it's actually, to me, maybe one of the more compelling Tesla vehicles they've released. So keep an eye on that one. We'll see how that goes. In the opposite direction, Polestar, you probably heard, is leaving the United States. They did not receive an exemption for the Chinese data tracking bit of the software that was put in during the Biden administration. Interestingly, Volvo and apparently Lotus did get the exemptions. So part of me wonders, and this is my speculation, which, you know, I like to speculate and come up with my own ideas, but I wonder if Geely, who's the parent company of all three, kind of saw that sales weren't great already and were kind of looking for an out, so maybe didn't even try too hard to get the exemption, even though they got it for Volvo and Lotus. Possibly I'm just completely off and just those two don't use the same software, but I know it all has to do with the tracking and the analytics and stuff that goes back to China and stuff, being Chinese-owned companies. So with that, the discounts on Polestars right now are staggering. Polestar 4s are getting like $25,000 off. Polestar 3s, I think, are $23,000 off. Or I think I saw today, Polestar 4, you could get $18,000 off with 0% financing. So if you're looking to pick up decently priced, I like the Polestars, but I mean, we don't know what the maintenance repair stuff is going to be like, if Volvo is going to support those vehicles for warranty repair and stuff like that. I did see one person on Reddit saying that their Volvo dealer already said, we're not touching your Polestars. So I would say, if you're interested in a Polestar at a really deep discount before they leave, make sure you can find a place to get it serviced. Another new release that came out recently, the BMW iX5 has had the covers taken off of it. On paper, super compelling. Mid 400s in range, 800 volt architecture with mega charging. Just like, I mean, BMW is killing it on the range and the charging for everything. The iX3, the i3, I bet you even the i3M or whatever, the i3, the souped up version of the i3 that they're coming out with, it probably will even have those great stats. But yeah, the iX5, I mean, it's class leading almost in stats. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I do not like the front end that both that and the iX3 have. I much prefer the i3's front end. There's just something, it's still beaver teeth. They're just not as big. Maybe they're rat teeth. I don't know. But I do not care for the grille treatment that they're putting on the SUVs. But I mean, from the inside, you can't see them. And I have a feeling they're going to be really good, compelling vehicles. So be looking for that. And then I guess you can kind of call this my soapbox. All the stuff broke on Slate. $25,000 for the blank Slate truck, gray with nothing. I'm not impressed. I'm actually probably more disappointed since the configurator went live. I went in and started doing things, and I mean, to get something that I would want, I was close to 40 grand already just in options, and then I have to install everything. I don't know if people realize that, but every option you click on there, you have to take care of getting installed. And some of it's probably as easy as snapping a panel on, snapping a panel off, but like, yeah, $500 for a wrap, and then you got to pay someone to put it on if you don't know how to install a wrap properly. You know, every option is just like, basically, I think they hand you the truck and all the parts, unless you pick the SUV or the fastback. I think that comes with the seats installed, but then everything else is DIY, which that part I do kind of like, because I like working on cars. Like, you know, it's one of the few things I miss is sort of at times is just being out in the garage working on my cars, but I also like not having to work on my cars. So, but yeah, I mean, it's great at 25 grand, but once you start adding options, it just goes up and up and up. And at that point, as others have said, you know, even a Bolt almost becomes more compelling with almost the same functionality and much better range, much better charging, because the Slate's only going to have 200 miles of range and 120 kilowatt charging. So, I mean, if I was starting a lawn care business and I just needed to tow behind an electric or a battery operated equipment, and yeah, maybe that's where the $25,000 Slate truck could be cool. You know, get a custom wrap done for that, and for your lawn care business, something like that. But as an everyday vehicle, I don't know. It's not appealing to me at that point, because how much more expensive it gets. Once the Ford Universal EV truck comes out, I bet you the price there is going to kill it. And if you're getting close to 40, you're getting the Tello truck, which is really interesting. I think those are going to be coming out soon. And yeah, that's my soapbox. I'm not impressed with Slate as much as I thought I would be once I hit the configurator, and I wasn't going nuts. I just was clicking what I would want in a vehicle, and there was no option to click a bigger battery or faster charging. So that is what it is. Other than that, as I said, I just got back from vacation. We were in Salt Lake City for a week with the family. I was hoping to get 2 videos made, but I probably only gonna have 1 video. I was trying to do one without any charging, just the vehicle we rented, which I'm gonna leave a secret till the video comes out. You know, I was just gonna try and do a video of a week with that, but it didn't work. There wasn't enough to show that wasn't just impeding on my family's vacation. So, and that was the more important thing. Sorry guys, my family comes first. So, but there will be a video coming in a few weeks of that. Salt Lake City, as far as EVs, I don't want to get too into it because I want the video to do the business on that, but there's an interesting dynamic going on there. The infrastructure is great. There's no reason not to own an EV in Salt Lake City right now, and I'll get into that in the video because you've got some super cheap public charging if you don't have it at home, but then you've also got some ridiculously priced public charging and everything in the middle, and a lot coming. So most of the videos kind of some coming soon stuff, but that'll come out in a few weeks. I got 2 from a previous weekend trip we did that will be coming out before that, and probably another couple of espresso shots. So if you haven't subscribed, now would be a good time to subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos of all my trips that I've been going on the last bit. So, and a bit of a shameless plug, if anyone's interested, I made 3 really short, couple-minute videos of some of the hikes we took to some waterfalls and hot springs in Utah, and I have those on my personal channel, which is called Eric's Random Stuff. I'll link that in the description because there's another channel with the same name, but it's not the most original, but that's my personal channel. I don't do much on there. I may start doing more here and there of non-EV stuff. So if you feel like heading over there, go ahead. You got 3 little cool hike videos that I made. Let me know what you think. With that, it's gonna be short and sweet. Like I said, I'm freaking tired. It's been a long day. I got up really early to catch a plane, and now we're here, and it's stupid humid here. I really wanted to just jump right back on the plane and go back to Salt Lake City because it was a lot nicer there than it is here weather-wise. So with that, as I said, give it a subscribe, give it a like, give it a share, give it a comment, jump down there, tell me what you think. If you think I'm off base on the Slate, if I'm off base on the looks of the iX5, any of that stuff. And with that, I will see you on the next one.